daily seeking those well-hidden signs of the apocalypse that may escape most people. In one day, a Florida man attempting to shoplift an AK-47 by stuffing it down his pants, Ted Cruz admitting he has reached level 217 of the video game Candy Crush, and bare-chested dictator Vladimir Putin defending the recently arrested leaders of FIFA as honest, upstanding, incorruptible men of shining character. Of course, this is the bulk of America, still trying to decide the real earth-shattering issues, like why Lena Dunham is famous at all. Let us gather and fight off those horsemen coming over the hill. I'm Ed Berliner. This is The Hard Line for Thursday, May 28th, 2015.
The best climate scientists in the world are telling us that extreme weather events, like hurricanes, are likely to become more powerful. When you combine stronger storms with rising seas, that's a recipe for more devastating floods. Climate change didn't cause Hurricane Sandy, but it might have made it stronger.
16 and 17-year-olds going into a state facility that has older, violent criminals is not a good mix. In my opinion, it is too early to condemn a 16-year-old to a life without redemption.
Our Justice Department will treat all fairly and uphold the Constitution. No one will be above the law, not even if you're a former Secretary of State whose name happens to be Clinton. Let's deliver a clear message to the politicians in Washington. You are our servants, not our masters.
I was disappointed that Republicans doubled the size of debt when we were in charge. I was disappointed that Republicans doubled the size of the Department of Education. I was disappointed that Republicans were even supporting Common Core. I was disappointed that Republicans were voting for bank bailouts. And so I said, I've either got to do something or shut up.
Maybe Rand Paul has a point. Perhaps when it comes to getting the attention of the American people, governing in Congress and convincing voters they are the brave new leaders this country needs, at the end of the day, as he said, the Republican brand sucks. And no amount of Clinton smoking guns or flopping on issues like a dying fish just ripped from the deep can save them. Or maybe, just maybe, there is one lurking out there who can change the course of destiny. Let us change the course of conversation by welcoming in Republican strategist Ford O'Connell, along with Executive Director of the Travis County Democratic Party in Texas, and a left-leaning strategist, J.D. Gins. Gentlemen, I thank you for joining us. And J.D., I'm going to begin with you on the left here, because Rand Paul is out there still passing along. Maybe he says, well, I'll back off a little bit on the sucks idea. But now we have George Pataki's involved, Santorum's involved. I mean, really, from the left, does anybody that's currently said they're going to run for president scare anybody on the left?
Well, right now, I don't think we see any giants out there. Even with formidable names like Jeb Bush being floated out there, no one's going to the front. Right now, it sort of seems like a clown car. More and more people just coming out every day, another person. And how could I forget? Rick Perry's thinking about throwing his hat in the ring again. I forgot about him. Oops. But the truth is, right now, there's not anybody out there who's really very formidable at all, and that's okay for the Democratic Party. For the Republicans, as soon as one moves out in front, you're going to see the rest of them start attacking, and they're going to be doing a lot of the work for us, and we're kind of looking forward to it. The good thing for the Republican Party right now is they're getting a lot of airtime, though.
All right, Ford, get in here now, because once again, here's somebody from the left who has used the phrase clown car to talk about the GOP. Go ahead, Ford, get in there, baby.
Well, he actually does have a point. If we start hitting below the belt, we're going to give the Democrats YouTube footage to use against us in a general election, because most people don't follow politics all that closely. Let me say this, with a half dozen to 15 potential candidates, there are about 5 to 7 who have a legitimate shot at winning. The question is, can they keep themselves above the fray and actually put their vision forward? If they can, Hillary Clinton's extremely vulnerable because of the electoral map in 2016.
Is there anything, though, to you, Ford, first, that Santorum and Pataki bring to the party, other than just basically making noise at this point? No disrespect meant to either man, but basically just noise.
Well, in a lot of ways they are, because they're trying to drive up their name ID. I'm not exactly sure they're in it to win it. Look, I have a better chance of becoming the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys next season than George Pataki does of winning the Republican presidential nomination. And as for Santorum, I'm sorry. Even though he finished second in 2012, a lot of people were not voting for him. They were voting against Mitt Romney.
By the way, I do want to point out that Governor Pataki is going to join us after the commercial break. We'll talk to him. I will mention the fact that maybe you think he could become quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys one day. We'll just see where he goes from there.
Fantastic.
JD, now when we talk about Hillary Clinton, here's a new Quinnipiac poll that says Rubio and Paul, the only ones who even come close to Hillary Clinton. Granted, we're still early again, but wouldn't it be fair to say that these are the two guys? Right now, I mean, let's take Jeb Bush and Scott Walker out of it, but these guys have captured a good part of the American imagination.
Sure. They're young, and they have some out-of-the-box ideas for their party. They're basically the closest thing the GOP's got to hope and change in their primary. And right now, you know, we're looking towards the future, and these guys are saying we don't want to be stuck in the past of the Republican policies that have obviously not won elections and have allowed the presidency to slip out of their hands. But, you know, it was not that long ago that the Republicans were questioning unseasoned freshman senators, and now they have two of them out in the front. So it's pretty interesting to see that flip-flop from the Republican Party.
Well, there's that word. Okay, here we go. Wait a minute, Ford. I knew you were going to hit on flip-flops. Go ahead.
The bottom line is that Marco Rubio, as of today, scares the Clinton camp the most. The reason is, one, they think he can win Florida. Two, he's fluent in Spanish. Three, he puts together generational contrast. And four, he has a compelling personal narrative. So from that perspective, they're actually scared of Rubio. But they know that Scott Walker and blue-collar America has to walk along with Marco Rubio should he be the nominee.
Gentlemen, let me get now to what was so perfectly stated in the Washington Post by Harold Meyerson as the polarization of this country, or the forces driving the United States apart. Ford, wouldn't you agree that whether it's right or whether it's left right now, to many people the right is going much farther right, the left is going much farther left. Sure, you've got people trying to meet in the middle occasionally and get a vote here and there, but there's a real schism in this country right now, and it doesn't seem as if many people are buying that any politician really wants to bring it together.
Well, I think there is a real schism in this country. I think there always has been a schism in this country because of geographical differences. I'm not so sure, though, that the right is actually moving right as much as the left has been going left. Let's be perfectly honest. We can look at a number of social issues, and you can see my point that the left is moving further left than the right is. Now, obviously, on a couple of economic issues, with respect to union and right to work, yes, the right is moving right on that.
All right. JD, I get to you on this one then, because here comes that split. Now, even Ford said it. He says he thinks the left, and many people agree, the left's moving farther left.
I don't think so. I think that you see the left is standing up for the middle class and talking about middle class economics. Things like raising the minimum wage, which have been terribly low for so long, is not an extreme left-wing position. In the 50s and the 60s of the heyday of golden era America, our workers were paid fair wages. And so when we talk about these things, those are not extreme left-wing issues. You look to the other side and you see the right wing just going, it's a race to the bottom, quite honestly. And that race to the bottom in the Republican primary keeps the wide open center for Hillary Clinton or whoever becomes the Democratic nominee.
But JD, here's the point. You've been in the White House for the last 8 years, and it's been your economic policies that have spread the middle class farther apart from the 1%, and it's contributed to this wage stagnation because you don't want to raise interest rates, and as such, people are not getting by, and you're the ones that are actually hurting the middle class.
A lot of Republicans have very short-term memory.
Can put forward a vision and argument.
I remember the George Bush era. I remember our economy almost collapsing. I think a lot of Republicans have collective amnesia. Since Obama has taken over, our economy has recovered, and a lot of people at the top have done well. And now, bringing along the middle class has been a fight the Republicans have been willing to fight every step of the way. Anything that we can do to expand access to wealth for the middle class is talked about as income inequality, trying to steal money from the rich. We don't have the Republican Party along trying to help. But I remember what it was like before Obama took presidency. Those George Bush years were pretty bad, as I recall.
Those George Bush years were bad.
10 seconds,
I take you're only referring to 06 to 08 because actually the economy was humming along quite nicely. And if you want to hang on to the Obama economic policy and say that that's what Hillary's going to carry along, please feel free because I'm going to win middle America.
Okay, hang tight here. I'm going to stop that right there because, boy, I'll tell you, let's keep going forward. I only got 30 seconds left. Ford, will Carly Fiorina make any change or any really impact whatsoever here? Some people think she's the most clear-minded of all the Republicans.
Well, what she's going to do is she's going to help the Republican field talk about women's issues with a proper vernacular, and she's the perfect attack dog on Hillary Clinton because the left can't play the war on women card on the Republican Party as long as Carly's up there on the debate stage.
JD, 10 seconds to you.
She's not ready for prime time. If she was, she would have her own website. Carly Fiorina wouldn't be a troll site pointing out that she laid off 25,000 workers on her only claim to fame.
But at least she is not out there in front of the cameras right now, as Hillary Clinton did, saying that I have always colored my hair. There you go. We'll get to all that and so much more. Ford O'Connell, J.D. Gins, gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you again real soon, and stay with us because the fastest 60 minutes of news, The Hard Line, continues.